4-year-old Lucas was saved from a devastating house fire by a heroic firefighter, but his repetitive murmur of "bad daddy" set everyone on edge. As the blaze was contained, the focus shifted sharply to Lucas's troubling words. An officer, sensing something deeply wrong, ventured into the charred remnants of the house. Officer James was acutely aware that Lucas's mutterings might signal more than just shock from the fire. Walking through the burned-out hallways, an eerie sensation washed over James, prompting him to call for reinforcements. But a tense response came back, highlighting the urgent situation outside with Lucas's frantic screams. Torn between further investigating the unsettling house and returning to assist with the distraught child, James cautiously navigated the wreckage. The melted toy truck he found in what was probably Lucas's room told a story of recent innocence lost to devastation. Lucas, watching James through the window, screamed, "Don't go in there!" as officers tried to calm him. This reaction further convinced James that the house harbored secrets. He radioed for backup once more, and soon 2 officers joined him. They needed to uncover the meaning behind Lucas's words, the cause of the fire, and the whereabouts of Lucas's father, who was notably absent. The mother's arrival brought a fresh wave of emotion. "Oh, Lucas, my baby," she cried, enveloping him in a protective embrace. As Lucas melted into her arms, the safety of her presence was fleeting. He quickly pulled back, looked into her eyes, and repeated, "Bad daddy." The impact of these words on her was profound, leaving her visibly shaken. Officer James introduced himself and began to question her regarding the fire and her husband's whereabouts. "My husband is at work like he always is on Monday," she responded with certainty, but her voice held a slight tremor, a quiver that didn't escape James's notice. When James informed her that her husband was not at work, and they had already confirmed this, he saw the color drain from her face. "But he left for work early this morning," she said, bewildered. The unfolding conversation revealed layers of shock and disbelief. She described her husband as a loving father, always present for Lucas, never missing a moment. Yet, the current scenario painted a starkly different picture. Relaying the urgency to the forensic team, James instructed them to determine the fire's cause, its rapid spread, and any details linking it to the discovered safe. The forensic investigation became pivotal, and the days that followed were filled with tense anticipation. James found himself frequently calling the forensic team for updates, each call's more urgent than the last. Revisiting the burned house, James scrutinized every charred item, seeking anything that might have been initially missed. Each room felt like a cryptic maze, its secrets bound within the ashes and blackened walls. The waiting, compounded by the eerie silence from the forensics team, turned each passing hour into a stretch of endless speculation. Determined to uncover the truth, James explored every lead. The tension within the station mounted, and the strain of an unresolved mystery weighed heavily on him. The house, Lucas's words, and the mother's reactions intertwined in his mind, forming a knot of unanswered questions. He knew the forensic results held the key to understanding the tragic sequence of events. As the community's concern grew, so did the pressure on James and his team. They worked tirelessly, knowing that the public awaited clarity and justice. With every passing day, the corridors of the police station echoed with the unspoken fears of what darker truths lay beneath the surface of this case. Night after sleepless night, James was haunted by Lucas's words and the grim reality of his father's disappearance. His instincts, which had seldom misled him, screamed of an underlying malignancy. As each piece of evidence unfolded, James felt a sinister and deeply rooted conspiracy emerging from what initially seemed like a tragic accident. Finally, the forensic report arrived, sparking a significant breakthrough. It confirmed that the fire was intentionally set, shifting the investigation's focus to arson. Most crucial, however, was the identification of the clean spot in the living room as the location of a fireproof safe, a clear indicator of premeditated destruction meant to conceal. Among the damning evidence were fingerprints on the remnants of the safe, unmistakably belonging to Lucas's father. This vinculum was irrefutable, establishing his direct involvement and altering the trajectory of their investigation. The discovery of arson, combined with the incriminating fingerprints, hinted at a calculated act of betrayal. The once benign absence of Lucas's father now suggested a far more sinister narrative. With a new urgency, James escalated the search for Lucas's father. Nationwide alerts were issued, descriptions circulated, and checkpoints established, turning the manhunt into an intense operation with national and international cooperation. As leads continued to vaporize into dead ends, the pressure intensified. Interviews with family and friends painted Lucas's father as an ordinary man, and even at his workplace, colleagues were baffled by his sudden disappearance. Yet every piece of financial data and communication unveiled a web of of lies and deceit, complicating the narrative. Despite the mounting evidence, Lucas's mother held steadfastly to her belief in her husband's innocence. The community's growing concern mirrored her distress, watching the ordeal unfold with a mix of sympathy and apprehension. The breakthrough came when data linked to financial transactions and false identities hinted at his escape to a nearby airport. The situation demanded immediate action. Officer James and his team, blending into the bustling crowd of travelers, watched each passenger intently, poised for the crucial moment. As the final boarding call echoed, Lucas's father appeared. The officers moved with coordinated precision, cornering him just before he could vanish. The arrest was swift, yet the emotional weight of the moment bore heavily on all involved. Lucas's father, realizing the futility of further resistance, surrendered quietly, his face reflecting the crumbling of his meticulously laid plans. A search of his belongings revealed a trove of fake IDs and varied documents under different aliases, signaling extensive preparations for a new life. Additionally, a rented storage unit contained boxes of new, unopened personal items and furniture, painting a stark picture of planned abandonment. These findings, combined with financial receipts and overseas property brochures, pieced together a chilling narrative of premeditated escape. The web of deception Lucas's father had woven around his family and life was vast and deeply troubling. In the stark atmosphere of the interrogation room, the weight of undeniable evidence finally broke Lucas's father. The meticulous facade he maintained crumbled as he confessed to setting the fire. His words, laced with regret, revealed a desperate plan to fake his death amidst financial ruin. His voice, once firm, now trembled with the heavy burden of his actions. His confession painted a tale of crippling debt, despair, and a path of deception that spiraled out of control. Lucas's unexpected presence in the house, revealed only during recess, was a fact that struck him hard. He had believed Lucas was at school, not home. The realization of his grave oversight added a layer of tragic guilt to his confession. The trial, ensuing soon after his arrest, proceeded with swiftness due to the overwhelming evidence. The courtroom became a theater of undeniable facts, with testimonies and forensic proofs painting a stark image of premeditation and deceit. And in the end, Lucas and his mother found closure and justice.